the legend of doing things bigger in Texas is clear with this huge budget. So break down where the money is going.
Well, it's a lot of money. As you said, it's the most money ever spent by the Texas state legislature in the history of Texas. So you have growth on steroids. It's $320 billion spent over the next 2 years, and that's up nearly $60 billion versus their previous budget. This is from a Texas Republican-dominated legislature signed by a Texas Republican governor. We took a look at the population of Texas 20 years ago in relation to the state budget, and this is pretty telling. So 20 years ago, in 2003, there was 22 million people that lived in the state. Today, there's 31 million Texans. The budget is, so that's 40% population growth, yet the state budget is up nearly 100% over that 20-year period. So the size, scope, and power of the state government in Texas is rapidly increasing. Thanks this year, a third of the increase was this year, so thanks to the Republican-dominated state legislature and the Republican governor.
Adam, one of the biggest takeaways was obviously lawmakers reversing course and not just renewing corporate welfare, but making it the largest in Texas history. Can you talk more about that?
Well, this was a big reversal because 2 years ago, actually, the legislature and the governor, they got rid of corporate welfare. But then they decided to bring it back. And I think most people with all political stripes, left, right, and center, will be upset by the fact that they brought it back in such a massive way that it actually equals the amount of property tax relief they gave to the people. So the corporate welfare at $18 billion was half the budget surplus. They had a $33 billion budget surplus. More than half of it goes to corporate welfare, another $18 billion to property tax relief. If you look at the corporate welfare, there's some very disturbing things. Like there's a handout to Hollywood. Hollywood doesn't need our help. And $155 million of the handouts on tax credits went to Hollywood. You've got, rich hospitals, and we've done a lot of this on the program. They profited during the pandemic. Their net assets went way up during the pandemic. And $2.2 billion of handouts are going to hospitals to help them build more hospitals in the state of Texas. You've got two areas that Congress threw tens of billions of dollars at, and now your Texas state legislature throws more than $2 billion at broadband construction and also for computer chip makers in the state of Texas. Again, they were funded out of the federal level, and they're getting another $2 billion out of the state government now.
Adam, should taxpayers be concerned that with the increased tax revenue from the influx of people coming into the state legislators may have a spending problem?
Yeah, state legislators have a spending problem. It's not a revenue problem. People are producing tons of taxpayer revenue into the state. Like I said, there was a $33 billion surplus. So here's what you didn't see. You didn't see the Texas state legislature. They could have put Texans on a path to eliminate the property tax. Could you imagine a state without an income tax and without property taxes? That would just be amazing. They chose not to do that. Here's what you also didn't see. You didn't see the Texas state legislature and the governor decide to return 17 congressional pandemic bailout funds. In the American Rescue Act plan, when Texas was running a surplus, Congress bailed out Texas for $17 billion. That was borrowed against the national debt. That was borrowed against the future of this country. Texas decided to spend it and not send it back to Washington to pay down the debt.
Adam, is there any other legislation you think we should pay attention to in the months to come?
Yes, I think that there's rumors that there's going to be a special session called by the governor on education savings accounts. And the 8th grade reading and math scores aren't pretty in the state of Texas. Now, to its credit, the legislature did allocate $10 billion to education in this cycle, but now they need to come in with some reforms, some competition to the public schools, and the way to do that, to give a lifeline to, for instance, low-income students trapped in failing public schools. Florida did this pilot program over 25 years ago. They were ranked 33rd in the country on the education of their low-income students. Today, they're number one, and Texas the legislature should bring up this reform.
Yeah, Adam, always great information you share with us. Thank you for breaking down the budget. You can find all of Adam's reports at openx.com. Thank you again for chatting with us this morning.
Thank you.